Oh, I've had too many noodles. Right guys, so this is the enclosure I'm going to be using for my regalis, my Indian ornamental. Now, it's not a very big spider. It's a overgrown sling to young juvenile. But I've had it now for quite a while. It's molted out a couple of times and it's in a deli pot. So it's overgrown the deli pot. So I'm going to be putting it into this 20 by 20 by 30 enclosure. Now, yes, it's probably a bit too big at the moment, but you've got to look at it as like it's still going to be better than what's in at the moment. And I don't have any sort of arboreal enclosures in between that, so I'm going to pop it into this one. Made decision. I think it needs it. So we're going to pop some soil in. Doesn't need to be too deep. It's not a burrowing species. This one that I've got always sits on top of the deli pot, or it always sits on the bark. So I've got a lovely massive piece of bark which I'm going to put in there. Just don't want to put too much in there, guys. There we go. Substrate I'm using is Spider Life. So here is the cork bark, which I'm going to try and wedge in there. Let's see, it's massive. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to wedge up one side of it for a reason. Okay, the reason I'm doing this is because I've got a water bowl. I want to sit on it, so it's a bit higher up. Okay, let me pop this in there. I'm going to wedge that on there, so that water bowl will sit up there, so it can reach the water bowl if it wants to. So that's cool. I'm just going to find a few more bits for it. Just give me a second, guys. You know what I'm like. I'm so disorganised when I'm doing stuff, and I don't organise myself properly or anything. So just forgive me for a minute. I'm just getting a sort of plant put in there for it as well. Just give me a minute while I sort that out. Oops. Yeah, like I said, I've had it a while now. This was a gift to me from Ad Darcy of Yorkshire Teas. He gifted me this beautiful spider. So I'm going to now give it a new home. So I've got this little grass thing which I'm going to pop in like that. I think that's quite nice. And again, I will bring the soil down and cover the base of that, so that gives that a bit more covering. Quite like that. Trying to give this spider some nice things to sort of like explore. Pop in some nice moss in there as well. I'm not doing a bioactive, guys. I'm not that great at doing enclosures to do like a bioactive but I'm trying to give this baby a nice home anyway. I quite like that. Just let me clean out that water dish a bit. It's got a bit of dirt in it. I just want to clean it out. Let me get my little paintbrush. I've been saving this Buddha water dish specifically for this spider. It being sort of Indian species, I think this is quite suitable and apt. So I quite like that little setup. Nothing too over the top. I'll just try and find me a bit of leaf litter. Pop a bit of leaf litter in there as well. Again, just to give it some nice sort of like different things for its environment. I might pop a bit of the moss stuff down the back here as well. And again, I might crumble up a couple of leaves and put some leaf litter down the back there as well. So let's have a little look at the enclosure. So that's the enclosure it's going to go in. Like I said, it's quite small, guys. It's an overgrown sling to a small juvenile, but it's in a tub which is a bit too small for it, and the tub's looking really over wet, damp, and all sorts of things, and I don't like it. I'll show you the tub. So it's in this. Can you see the spider? So it's going to be going into there, and it looks all damp and wet at the bottom, and I just think this would be better for the spider in the long run, to be honest. So I've got to try and rehouse the baby. So let me just sort a few things out and then we'll do that. Right guys, so what I've done, I've put the enclosure into the pot into this enclosure to try and move the spider over. So what I'm going to try and do, I've got the lid on of the enclosure a little bit as much as I can. I'm going to try and encourage the spider to come out of its enclosure. Try and be very gentle, guys. Keep in contact with the spider if possible. And out it goes. The spider is now out of that enclosure, so I can probably remove the old enclosure now. There we go. What I'm going to do, very gently, take the lid off and show you the spider. So there he is, or she, in the new enclosure. It's not too bad, to be honest. I've had smaller spiders in bigger enclosures. My GBB, when I got it, went into a 30 by 30 by 30, and it was about that size, and now it's huge and doing brilliantly. So there we go. That was done quite easily and well. Let's just pop that little phone there for you, so you can have a little look at the baby. Because what I want to do, guys, I'm going to pop the lid on. The only thing you've got to be wary of when this sort of size in this sort of enclosure is to make sure they still eat, and give them sort of like, put the food as close to them as you can. I'm going to obviously won't be feeding her for a few days, let her settle in, but she's now in her new home, and this would probably end up being her forever home. So that's quite cool, isn't it? That was quite coolly done. So what do you think of that, guys? I thought that went really, really smoothly, to be honest. And it's in a beautiful home. Look at that. It's got a gorgeous, gorgeous home. Lovely bit of cork bark for it to web up, to climb on. Lots of areas to hide and explore. It's got a beautiful water bowl there in the Buddha, which I have put water in. It's got some moss, and it looks really, really cool. Really happy with that. I think that went really well. So just a short one today, because I thought it would be quite an easy, nice little rehouse, because it's a beautiful, lovely little spider. Absolutely gorgeous thing. Let me try and see if I could put the light on the actual camera lens so you can see it a bit better. Yeah, absolutely stunning spider, and it's going to really love its new home, and it will grow into it. It will absolutely grow into this. So good size, and I probably will never have to rehome it again. I mean, they do get to about 6 to 7 inches, but this is going to be big enough. I've been watching quite a few videos of Dave's little beasties and things like that, and he says, yeah, he keeps his in this size enclosures because it's ample for them, you know. Maybe if I can lift the lid slightly and we can come in and have a little look at the baby. Yeah, and he said that this is an ample size for the tarantula. So that's cool. That went really, really well. It's gone behind on its bark now. Sorry about the camera, guys. Yeah, God, you know what I'm like. My camera work skills will never improve. So it's just the way I am in it. You know, I'm sure you're used to me by now. But there we go. Anyway, let's try and thank a few people before we go. Thank a few YouTube channels out there. Obviously Mark the Spider Guy, Spider Mum 1978, Unusual Pets, Unseen Universe, RS Designs, Incredible Inverts and Other Animals, Tina Deep Blue Sea, Dave's Little Beasties, Tom Big Spiders. All fantastic channels, guys. Check them all out. Until next time, look after yourselves, look after one another, and I really hope I'll see you all soon.